Are you interested in some spicy new deck tech? Well, here's your host, Capital
And
G!
peoples of the world, welcome back. Capital G here, bringing you a deck tech for Gorion Wise Mentor. But before we go into the deck, of course, be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy what we're doing here on the channel. And continue to receive more of my insights into the Commander format and some deck building tips and tricks. And of course, be sure to join me and a bunch of other real awesome people down at the Dungeons and Cardboard Discord group. It's our LGS away from our LGS. It is free to join and free to play. So as long as you have a Discord account, just click on that link and come join us and play some Commander, or maybe some Flesh and Blood, or maybe some Dungeons and Dragons, or anything else that we might have going on. It's always a fun time with these people, so be sure to come join us for that. Anyway, moving on to the deck tech, we've got Gorion Wise Mentor here. Blue, white, and green for a 3/4 human wizard with vigilance. And whenever you cast an adventure spell, you may copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. So what is an adventure spell? Initially introduced in the set Throne of Eldraine and brought back for the set Battle at Baldur's Gate. An adventure would look something like this. It's usually a permanent, oftentimes a creature. But on the bottom left corner, there's an instant or sorcery attached to it with the subtype adventure. So what happens here is that you may cast a permanent spell, or you may cast the instant or sorcery from your hand. If you choose to cast the adventure, in this case it would be Sand Augury, which gives us a scry then a card draw. If you cast the adventure, the card will end up going to exile. And then from exile, you can still cast the permanent. That's the concept here. We get a lot of value because a lot of our spells do two different things. And oftentimes they'll do both. And also with our commander out, anytime we cast the adventure portion of a card, we get to copy it. Pretty sweet stuff. An effect so powerful that a key card for adventures back in Throne of Eldraine Standard was banned, and we will see it very, very soon. Actually, let's look at it right now. The Lucky Clover. 2 mana artifact. It says whenever you cast an adventure, instant or sorcery spell, copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. So, Lucky Clover is there for the redundancy, and if we've got both the Lucky Clover and our commander, that means we cast an adventure, we get the effect 3 times. Pretty sweet stuff. We're going to go through the deck here. The presentation is going to look a little mixed up because just the way the program lists all of my cards for the deck. Sometimes it lists it as a creature, sometimes it lists it as a sorcery, sometimes it lists it as an instant, sometimes it's just kind of random today. So I'm just going to go through all of the non-land cards, then I will go through the land cards. So let's continue that with the Arcane Signet, which of course taps for any of our colors. The Horn of Valhalla. This 2 mana equipment in white's got a pretty sweet adventure. These cards call white, and X. Create X 1/1 white soldier tokens. So that's a pretty sweet adventure spell. Sorcery speed, but still, army in a can. And then when we do cast this as a permanent, it's an equipment that gives the equipped creature +1/+1 for each creature we control. And an equip cost of 3, so pretty cool stuff here. Running the Portal of Sanctuary. A lot of our permanents with adventure spells attached to them are in fact creatures. So this gives us the opportunity to reuse them by just paying 1, tapping this, returning the creature to our hand. We can only do this at sorcery speed, and there are other spells that are a little faster than this that can react at instant speed. But I'd figure like this shows off the concept very nicely. The deck's mana intensive, so we definitely want our Soul Ring and our Worn Power Stone. We do have other ramp spells that'll pull lands from our deck. We'll show those off later on. Archmage Meridus. In addition to having the advantage of having 2 spells attached to each card, basically, why not run this? Whenever we cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, draw a card. So yes, with our commander out, we cast an adventure, we get to draw 2 cards with this, not just the 1. Ardenvale Tactician, pretty sneaky stuff. Dizzying Swoop is the adventure, which taps up to 2 target creatures. And when we cast that as a permanent, it's a 2/3 flying, a pretty efficient mana cost at 3 mana, so that's actually really good. Beanstalk Giant is one that we do I do run into once in a while in the format, even outside of adventure decks, because it has the wrap spell Fertile Footsteps. A sorcery that lets us go get a basic and put it onto the battlefield, untapped. It's also a 7 mana star, being of course the number of lands we have in play. Moving on to the Blessed Hippogriff. White and 3 for this 2/3 Hippogriff, but has the adventure Tear's Blessing, which we can cast at instant speed to grant target creature indestructible until end of turn. So this is a really nice trick. As a creature, it's a 2/3 with flying, and it can give another creature flying when we attack. Bloom Tender, a dork that can tap for 3 mana. We do need the mana, so I do recommend the Bloom Tender. A little bit of a money card. I don't know if this has been spoiled for Double Masters 2 or not, so I'm going to keep an eye on that. Double Masters 2, of course, is going to give us a bunch of cool reprints, and it was supposed to have a multicolor focus, so this feels like a good place to reprint it, but I don't know for sure yet as of time of recording. Brazen Borrower, another adventure creature that was a nightmare during Standard, although this one did not get banned. As a flying creature, blue and 1, 3/1 flying with flash. It can only block creatures with flying. Or it has Petty Theft as the adventure, blue and 1. Return a non-land permanent an opponent controls to its owner's hand. Really nasty tempo beast. Crystal Dragon has the adventure, Rob the Horde. Return an artifact, enchantment, or legendary card from your graveyard to your hand. Pretty sweet stuff. It's also a 6 mana 4/4 with flying and vigilance, so a little more expensive than a typical angel, but again, having that flexibility of bringing cards back from our graveyard, yes please. Dika, Fractal Theorist, another one of these Magecraft spells, for a blue and 4, great setup piece here, 3/3 Human Wizard. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery, so that includes copied adventure spells, by the way. Create a green and blue Fractal creature token, put X 1/1 counters on it, where X is the spell's mana value. In this case, the mana value would be whatever the cost of the adventure spell was. And of course, we can always pay 4 mana, blue and 3, to have a target creature token unblockable this turn. Dread Lenorm has the Scale Deflection adventure, which lets us put 2 1/1 counters on a creature and untap it and grant it hexproof. 4 mana is a little expensive for this defensive effect, but at least we have it. And it's a 7 mana 7/6, a beefy beater that cannot be blocked by creatures of power 3 or less. It just can't be jumped by like a sapling token. Chances are if you're swinging with this, your opponent has to block with something chunky or take the hit. Edgewall Innkeeper, 1 green mana for this 1/1. Whenever you cast a creature spell, if it has an adventure, draw a card. So lots of ways of taking advantage of the adventure type. Errant Street Artist, 1 blue for this 0/3 Human Rogue. Has Flash, Defender, and Haste. And a pretty cool ability, blue and 1, and tap this to copy a spell that was not cast. You may choose new targets for the copy. And remember, it says copy target spell, which means if we have this out and we cast a creature that was out on an adventure, we can actually copy the creature spell, and the copy will enter the battlefield as a token. So, pretty cool stuff. Alternatively, if we cast an adventure, and we have our commander out, our commander makes a copy of it, Errant can make an additional copy of it using that ability. So, an awesome fit here. Ettercap has Web Shot, which destroys target creature with flying. As a creature, a 2/5 with flying and reach. Faber Elder, again, an excellent mana dork here. 3 mana for this Treefolk Druid with Vigilance. +1/+1 for each color amongst permanents we control. So the most this can tap for, and the biggest this can get on its own, is 3/3, but that's fine. Again, we need all the mana we can get. This will tap for at least 2 while it's out. It'll tap for a 3rd mana if we have a blue permanent on the battlefield. The Fairy Guide Mother, I like that name, has the adventure Gift of the Fae to give a creature +2/+1 in flying. It in and of itself is a 1/1 flyer for 1 mana. The Flaxen Intruder, this is a funny little card. Welcome Home is the adventure, a really expensive one at 7 mana, but it gives us a bunch of bears when we cast it. And as a creature, just 1 green to put it on as a creature, and when this deals combat damage to a player, we could choose to sacrifice the Flaxen Intruder to destroy an artifact or an enchantment. Garenbrig Carver has Shield's Might, which gives a creature +2/+2 until end of turn, and is a 3/2 vanilla creature otherwise. Hypnotic Sprite counters a spell of mana value 3 or less if you use the Mesmeric Lair portion, otherwise it's a 2/1 with flying for double blue. Ithalid Harvester, this is a nasty, nasty card from Baldur's Gate. Blue and X for plant tadpoles. Tap X target creatures, they do not untap during the controller's next untap steps. And then when we cast this as a creature, turn any number of target tapped non-token creatures face down. They're 2/2 horrors. Gonna get a judge to respond to me on this one. I'm pretty sure that those creatures cannot flip back over unless they're blinked by something like, say, Otherworldly Journey. Or I think they can flip back over if they have a morph ability. Other than that, if we turn somebody's commander face down, that face down thing is still going to deal commander damage, but they're not going to be able to flip back up on its own. They have to find a way to either kill off their commander, sacrifice it, blink it, what have you, in order to get it back face up. So, very nasty. Leonin Lightscribe has Magecraft, and I thought this was a pretty cool one. 2 mana, 2/2. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. So every adventure spell buffs the whole team. Twice if we have our commander, 3 times if we also have our Lucky Clover. Yes. The Lonesome Unicorn has the adventure spell Rider in Need. Gives us a 2/2 Knight with Vigilance. In and of itself is a 3/3 Unicorn with Vigilance. Moonshape Pixie gives us access to the Pixie Dust adventure. Up to 3 target creatures gain flying until end of turn. And then the Pixie itself, it's a bit of a mouthful. It's a flying creature. When this enters the battlefield, draw cards equal to the number of opponents who were dealt combat damage this turn. Murmuring Mystic. Whenever we cast an instant or sorcery, try saying that 3 times fast. Create a bird illusion token with flying. Pegasus Guardian. It's got a pretty cool removal spell in here and Rescue the Fowl. Exile target creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. So, if someone's swinging with a big old token, it's gone for good. We can also use this to dodge some targeted removal. It's a 6 mana 3/3 with flying, which is a little pricey, but at the beginning of your end step, if a permanent you controlled left the battlefield, you get a Pegasus token. The Quandrix Apprentice, another way of getting us some card advantage, blue and green for this 2/2. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, you get to look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal a land card from among them and put that card into your hand. So pull lands out that way. Pretty sweet. Queen of Ice has the Rage of Winter adventure. Tapped creature, it does not untap during its no control's next untap step, so freeze it down. And whenever this deals combat damage to a creature, tap it, it doesn't untap. So Queen of Ice is truly that. Just freeze lock our opponent's best thing. Rosethorn Acolyte. Filter a green through here to add 1 mana of any color. Or it's a mana dork that can tap for a mana of any color. Shepherd of the Flock. This is great. I was playing on Arena, and this card has put in a lot of work for me. For a single white, return a permanent you control to its owner's hand. It's also a 2 mana 3/1, so fantastic. Talran Sky Summoner. Cast an instant or sorcery. That includes our adventure spells. We get a Drake. These only work on the cast. It's not Magecraft, so it only works on casting, not copying those spells. So, copied spells do not get us more Drakes, but that's okay because we're still getting a Drake. Running the Tribute Mage. We've got a couple of artifacts that cost merely 2 mana, so this will help us go get, most notably, Lucky Clover. It can also get us the Horn of Valhalla or the Arcane Signet, so there's 3 possible targets already that we've discussed. Vega the Watcher. I was looking on EDH Rec to fill in some blanks and spotted this and was like, yeah, of course. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, draw a card. This includes permanent spells that were previously cast as adventures, because they're being cast from exile, not from your hand. Val, Candlekeep Researcher. I love this card. I've already run her as a commander, and it's a deck that can put in a lot of work, but even here, a 2/3 Vigilance for 4 mana that can tap for a number of colorless equal to her toughness, which is 3. That'll help us cast a lot of the more expensive adventure spells that have been... Oh, permanent spells, sorry, that have been previously cast as an adventure. A few enchantments to change it up. Inspiring Leader, just making our commander even more powerful by... Just by existing with this on the battlefield, creature tokens you control get +2/+2. Again, the risk with backgrounds is that this does absolutely nothing if you do not have your commander on the battlefield. But when you do, it is awesome. One card that doesn't suffer from this drawback of the backgrounds, Primeval Bounty. For 6 mana, this enchantment sticks, and whenever you cast a creature spell, you get a beast. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, including adventures, put 3+1/+1 counters on a creature you control. And then whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 3 life. So you put this down, and then from that point forward, no matter what you do, you're getting some value. A Quiet Contemplation. Here's a spicy piece, blue and 2 for this enchantment. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this includes your adventures. You may pay 1. If you do, tap a creature an opponent controls, and it does not untap during its controller's next untap step. And then, of course, the Shark Typhoon. Shark Typhoon, you cast your adventure spells, you get your shark. Remember, the mana value of the adventure spell is the adventure portion, not the mana value of the card itself. We're not going to cycle this away. It's got a cycling ability. We are not cycling this away. If we are, it's because we're already losing that game. A few instants to help us out. A simple Blacksmith Skill. This is a card that has put in so much work for me since Modern Horizons 2 had come out. For a single white, target permanent gains hexproof and indestructible. If it's an artifact, it also gets +2/+2. But just being able to give our commander hexproof and indestructible for a single white, absolutely fantastic. That's why Tamiyo's Safekeeping is also here. Does a similar thing. Gives us the added bonus of always gaining us 2 life regardless of what our target is. Emerald Dragon has Dissonant Wave. Counter an activated or triggered ability from a non-creature source. So somebody wants to pan Harmonicon? Well, maybe not. Giant Killer has the Chop Down Adventure, which destroys a creature power 4 or greater. And as a creature, it's also pretty fantastic. 1 white to cast it, white and 1 to tap down an opposing creature. The Guardian Naga has Banishing Coils. 3 mana instant to exile an artifact or an enchantment. And as a creature, it's expensive at 7 mana, but it is a 5/6 with Vigilance. And on your turn, prevent all damage that would be dealt to Guardian Naga. Moving on to the Sapphire Dragon, has Psionic Pulse, which counters a non-creature spell. So it's a 3 mana negate, which not where we necessarily want to be. Like, negate is usually our top end for counter spells. At 2 mana, we don't want to usually pay more than 2 for a counter, but this will be fine. Because it also gives us access to a 7 mana dragon, 5/6 with flying, and whenever it attacks or blocks, we get to scry 2. Sea Hag has Aquatic Ingress Adventure. Up to 2 target creatures get +1/+0 until end of turn and cannot be blocked. We can definitely mess with combat on this one. And then when this enters the battlefield, creatures our opponents control get -4/-0 until end of turn. So if we ever do put this down as a creature, it'll give us a window that we can use to swing out without our creatures dying from that combat. Silver Flame Squire has the adventure On Alert. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn and untap it. It's also a 2/1 for 2 mana. Sword Coast Serpent, 7 mana for the 6/6, but it does have Capsizing Wave, which returns a creature to its owner's hand. The Serpent itself cannot be blocked as long as you've cast a non-creature spell this turn, which that's every adventure ever in this deck. Moving on to our remaining sorceries. Like I said, we're going to wrap up, so Cultivate is in. Fabricate, it's here to specifically get us our Lucky Clover. Once we've already got it, we can go get whatever else we need. Farseek to go get a non-forced card. Kodama's Reach. Not so much non-forest, but anything that's marked as a plains, island, swamp, or mountain, I should say. So Kodama's Reach, of course, go get a couple of basics. The Love-Struck Beast has Heart's Desire, which for a single green creates a human creature token. And comes down for only 3 mana. It cannot attack unless we control a 1/1 creature. But a 3 mana 5/5 blocker is still really, really excellent. People aren't going to swing into this randomly. Nature's Lore. It did get the reprint in Baldur's Gate. I've busted open 2 set booster boxes. I did not pull this common. You're going to have more luck pulling... If you're looking to pull this, pull it from draft boosters. Don't look for it in a set booster, because 2 boxes of set boosters, I did not get a single one. Heads up on that if you're looking for this card. Rampant Growth goes get any basic. Realm Cloaked Giant. It's a board wipe. Destroy all non-giant creatures. So our deck's not built to benefit from the non-giant clause, but very, very few decks are. You might run into 1 or 2 randomly in the wild, but it's super rare. It's also a 7/7 with Vigilance. That's a nasty creature to have on the battlefield if we get it to stick. 3 visits. Go get us a forest. Time of Need. Go get a legendary creature. I mean, Talrand and Dika are going to generate us a bunch of tokens, and this will help us find them if we don't draw into them naturally. Tlin. How do you pronounce that? Tlin. Never mind. The Hunter has the adventure Retrieve Prey. Exile target creature card from your graveyard until the end of your next turn. You may cast that card. And for 7 mana, you get a 7/7 with trample, and we can pay 0 rather than pay the mana cost of a creature spell we cast from exile, which is excellent. Lots of love for that. Twin-Veiled Treefolk gives us a couple of +1/+1 counters on one of our creatures if we use the Oaken Boon. And we've already discussed the Young Blue Dragon. It is, in fact, a part of the list. Our lands, we've got the Arctic Tree Line. Boseiju, we're going to be running the Kamigawa Neon Dynasty lands to give us that extra utility. Breeding Pool. The Broker's Hideout, that's the only one I'm running this time out, although we could run all 5 of these in concept. This is the only one I'm going to use this time. Go gets us a basic forest, islands, or plain. Command Tower, of course. Ijanjo, the Exotic Orchard, running 8 forests. The Glacial Floodplain, Hollowed Fountain, 6 islands, Ottawawa, 6 plains, a Reflecting Pool, freshly reprinted, so these things should be kicking around. Rimewood Falls, Seaside Citadel, Spar's Headquarters, coming in from New Capenna, give us the cycling land there. Temple Garden, and because we need the ramp and we're running a lot of spells that ramp out more lands onto the battlefield, Temple of the False God is in fact a good fit here. And there we are. We got through it. Gorion, Wise Mentor. This is going to be a bit of a longer video, I think. Actually, only about 25 minutes, so much more brisk than I expected, actually. So, hope you all enjoyed that. I'm going to be going on vacation next week. I do know what my next video for the first 10 series is going to be. I don't know if I'll have that out this week or if it'll be after I get back from vacation. But that's what I've got coming down the pipe. And until then, like I said, be sure to come join me on the Discord group. I'll try and get a game in before I go on vacation. I won't be able to once I am. And yeah, that covers everything. So with that in mind, be sure to check out some of my other videos. They're going to be appearing over here. There we go. And we will see you all again next time. Bye for now.